Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna. I recently came across a few false allegations leveled against me by a notorious YouTuber who has been using my name in my videos, misusing, I would rather say, in order to gain views, as well as probably for some ulterior motives as well. Recently, a lot of my videos have been discussed quite seriously by the public in Taiwan, as well as other areas around East Asia. Including in Russia and in Europe as well as South America. This has generated a lot of discussion, and there are lots of people listening to the Vedic astrology predictions that have been made and pondering over the scientific value of Vedic astrology. There's lots of valuable discourse going on, but alongside there's also heaps of controversy and people trying to make fame and money off the growth of Vedic astrology. So I would like to refute these allegations. First of all, the first one which has been leveled against me is that my video that was originally published on the 22nd of August 2019 is the allegation is that that video is basically a edited video, and it is a fake video which has been uploaded later. This is allegation number one that's been leveled by this particular channel. So they made a little documentary about me. I'm not sure.
为印度神童的阿南，在这个阿南德第一次来到台湾。印度神童阿南德6号来台出席区块链高峰会，他成为元。
So there are a couple of people who are interested in utilizing this discussion to their own gain. So the first allegation, which is so ridiculous, is that my father, being a techie, has basically re-uploaded my video or uploaded my video after the pandemic began. Anyone with a basic knowledge of technology or anyone with a basic knowledge of how YouTube works would easily know that it's impossible to predate your video after uploading it. It is impossible to change the date of your video, but it's so pathetic to see that these two individuals are not aware of this basic fact, or probably they're just using pretending to be unaware of the fact and trying to malign the science of Jyotisha as well as the predictions that I've made. Yes, and here's the article which clearly explains how exactly this is a lie, and how I had posted the video Severe Danger to the World on the 22nd of August 2019 and not later. In fact, I'd like to debunk it with one more specific claim. If you look at this graph that you can see here, this is the most important part of the video. You can see that before January 31st, 2020, we had 13,000 and odd people who had already watched the video. This particular video was made when I was 14 years old, and I understand why there is speculation and there is a problem here, because it has challenged the very tenets of modern philosophy that is calling astrology a pseudoscience. So it's challenging the whole narrative, and hence there'll obviously be a lot of discussion. So first of all, I'm open to discussion. I'm open to criticism. You can debate with me. I'm open to debate. I have a website. You can basically contact me through my email address. You can ask me for a debate, and I'm very happy to debate you on every single topic, and I'm sure that I'll be able to prove to you that Jyotisha is a real science at the end of the day. And so far, I have invited so many people for a debate, but no one has come up for a live debate on YouTube wherein I will prove that Jyotisha is real. And I'll ask a couple of questions that are going to definitely shatter the narrative against Jyotisha. So to start with, this particular video, most of you who have already watched this would definitely know there literally a lot of people who have already watched this video, I'm sure, who are currently listening to me. In 2019, after some meditation and studying of Jyotisha, going through the Panchanga and other cyclical coordinates of Jyotisha, I was quite sure that 2020 would be a game-changing year. It would be a dangerous year for the world, and I had discussed it in detail in this video. I was at that time thinking that war is the primary thing that could affect the world in 2020, because that was my thought. I'm not superhuman, and expecting me to make an all-round prediction is also quite silly, I would say, that too at the age of 14. Yet, when the IMF, when the WHO did not warn us about anything, Jyotisha was able to warn us that 2020 is going to be a dangerous year. And yes, I did mention disease as well, but the video which I just showed you all now has conveniently, taken off the fact that I have mentioned disease a number of times in this video itself. For example,
the Samvatsara, or the year name is Bihari. Bihari means the trouble, the disease, and the malediction can change. And this is why I believe strongly that this year is surely going to be really troublesome for the whole world according to astrology.
So basically, this is just one of them. Our viewers can go back and watch the whole video. It's never been changed. The title, the thumbnail, and every single aspect of this video is as it was on the 22nd of August 2019. I have the metadata to back it up and the content metadata for this video as well. So it's impossible to say that this video has been manipulated in any way. And I'm very, very clear about that. In fact, because at that time I believe that either a world war is going to happen or a disease is going to happen that is going to kill a lot of people, for example.
And next, there will be widespread diseases across the world, and if not across the world only.
So you can see again that there was a very clear mention of widespread diseases around the world, or if not around the world, at least around India. So I had a very clear vision that 2020 is going to be a dangerous year. Throughout the video, I've talked about wars. You can see the World War III being also put over here, because at that time, I thought that 2020 is a dangerous year. It could either be a world war or it could be a disease. But I mentioned both the possibilities. I also added two more important predictions. One, there would be a recession before April of 2020, which played out exactly as mentioned. And I mentioned the time frame November 2019 to April 2020. In fact, coronavirus, or COVID-19 disease, started exactly around November 2019. The first strain of the virus and the first infection probably took place in November 2019, and it accelerated before April 2020. I mentioned other important dates, for example, January 2020, when I guess another major event happened. That was the first death probably. Lockdowns began to be announced in February, after the 26th of February, since the Kalasarpa Yoga began. The 31st of March, everything started coming down, and I've given the dates as well. And definitely anyone can go through this video. I do not claim that I predicted 100% of 2020, but using Jyotish Shastra, I give complete credit to the ancient sages who have envisioned this beautiful science and given us the wealth of wisdom through which I was able to do just a little bit of service. I would say not me, but as a nimitta, as an instrument, I've been able to analyze this happening between November 2019 and April 2020. And this ridiculous claim of it being uploaded later on is, again, as I mentioned, absolutely foolish, I would say. And those who, are hinging onto this claim, those who are just clinging on to this claim, must reconsider their ways. So basically, try again if you want to really defame Jyotisha. I think this wasn't enough. Probably you should try again. And probably instead of, making cowardly videos in the background, why not directly contact me and have a fair debate? Because I'm open to that. And then secondly, there's also, there have been several smear campaigns against me. It's probably because of my opinions and a couple of major issues that I had raised my voice on in the past. There was a smear campaign against me from Malaysia, wherein a fake Facebook account was created against me. I quickly, probably not very quickly, but within a couple of weeks, the moment I figured out, I published a video on the 16th of January 2021 stating very clearly that I do not have a Facebook account. This fake Facebook account was publishing predictions in broken English using my name and my picture and making people believe that it is me who is basically posting this nonsense. Absolutely. This account even pretended to predict the number of people who would die. Anyone following my channel knows that I've never made such stupendous claims of any sort. And also, none of my videos have this kind of broken English. All of you who are listening to me know that at least I have a basic standard of speaking English at the least. So this written English is definitely not mine. Anyone can see through it, but apparently I understand the people who speak Chinese who may not understand English, they need not as well misunderstood it, and these fake predictions were carried in so many media outlets that I had a headache of a job trying to clear all of that. So basically, I think one piece of advice for these Taiwanese or Chinese or Malaysian or whatever YouTubers is or media channels is, please double check your information. It will be helpful if you contact the individual concerned instead of just spewing out whatever comes to your mind on a news article. So very important and important suggestion for them. And secondly, for example, this article, I wasn't contacted before the publishing of this article, and yet it has been published, and there are quite a few allegations. And I'd like to add an important challenge to this video. Maybe my video on the severe danger of the world, when severe danger to the world in 2019 to 2020, the video that I've made, is probably a bit vague. I agree. It includes the mentions of war. It had predicted the recession. It predicted widespread disease. It predicted the collapse of the transport industry, if you hear it very carefully. It also mentioned a few other things, including the increase in gold prices, which didn't happen that year, but happened later. The crash of the stock market, it did happen exactly in the time frames as narrated. The fall in oil prices, again, as I mentioned, I was expecting a war, so I expected oil prices to increase. Rather, they fell in the period since it was a pandemic and there was a lockdown. So again, my logic was a bit skewed. So maybe this video isn't the accurate portrayal of Jyotisha's full and final effectiveness. I'd like to challenge with another video that has very, very clear effectiveness when it comes to very, very clear accuracy. And I'd like to challenge this specific YouTuber. I think the name is LQ Mama or something, and a couple of other YouTubers to try and debunk this specific video. So kindly hear this video. It was posted on the 4th of October 2023. There was no sign of any war or any problem in the Middle East on the 4th of October 2023, or even before that. There was no sign of a terrorist attack or nothing of that sort. On the 7th of October, Hamas attacked Israel with over 1,400 rockets, marking one of the biggest, 5 to 10,000 rockets, I guess, and killed 1,400 people, mutilating several more. And it was one of the biggest attacks on Israel, equated to the 9/11 of Israel. 3 days before that attack took place, this video predicted exactly the location and the scale and the approximate date of the attack as well. I don't like recounting my successes or Jyotisha's successes over and over again, but I think here I have to, because the reputation of Jyotisha is being attacked and it needs to be protected. So here we go. Overall, between October and November, we are likely to see these kind of things happening, and terrorism is sure to rise during this period. Natural disasters are also likely. So if you look at the time frame, we can also see the time frame covered in this video. Particular area, since already we have faced several Ghataka events or deadly events in this particular area. The location was mentioned in this video. The time frame was mentioned in this video. It was compared stressful days to 9/11 as well. For geopolitics globally. That is something that is a direct consequence of this particular combination. A special formation is signaling organized violence, including terrorism. Terrorism is very much likely to happen around this time frame. And I'd like to mention, the reason for this, of course, is... So basically, if you just look at the time frames as well as the location that's mentioned, Israel is somewhere here. I just mentioned the area using the Jyotish Shastra, as well as I explained the time frame. It was very clear. The same combinations of 9/11 were repeated. So my challenge to anyone who questions the ability of Jyotisha to predict future events, kindly explain this. Why is it that the CIA or the Mossad or so many other intelligence agencies were unable to warn the people of such an event, were unable to warn the Israeli populace, when someone who has absolutely no idea about geopolitics, someone who hasn't studied geopolitics, someone who doesn't have camera access to any of the places in Israel or in the Middle East, was able to predict this? Are you going to say that I am more intelligent than all of these security agencies in being able to predict an event? No way. It is Jyotisha which was able to give me this information. It is the science of Jyotisha which allowed me to predict this. So I think have fun trying to explain how this prediction was made. And let's go on to see a few other allegations that this individual has made against me. One of them being that my parents, since a very young age, have trained me to be, some sort of a guru or some sort of spiritual, they call me a fraudster specifically. So I'd like to say that I've never aspired to be a so-called guru, and I have not yet found my own guru in a physical form. I follow Kanchi Mahaperivar, who is an embodiment of being a perfect guru. I follow Srila Prabhupada. I follow Rajiv Dikshit as my, guru for my lifestyle and my discipline. My parents inculcated these values in me through these gurus, but I have personally never aspired to be a guru. My family never wanted me to be a guru of any sort. In fact, I discovered astrology, through some sort of a, fun venture. I was just studying Sanskrit, and the nearby classroom was teaching astrology. So I thought I'll just, go and ask my parents if I can study it. My mom was very enthusiastic because she wanted me to explore every single aspect. She never pushed me into any of these sciences. She was so open to everything. In fact, she used to regularly hide my astrology books because I used to spend too much time in them. She never forced me to study astrology. These two people, who have absolutely no idea of my upbringing and have never even bothered to contact us regarding anything, have created a 34-minute documentary speaking about me and my family without even caring to ask us once. But anyways, it just shows the kind of mindset that some people have. But going ahead here, it's important. I keep telling myself that these are qualities called kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, and matsarya, which are negative qualities, which cause one to try and harm others' reputation without proper understanding. And patience and calm is a positive quality, which is why I have not yet taken legal action on these two. But it is my dharma and my kartavya that if these two individuals and the others who have posted all kinds of nonsense do not take them down or apologize for their content, further steps will need to be taken. And additionally, going through this video, they have leveled so many other different allegations, including that, such funny and petty things like my website isn't in traditional Chinese and only, my website isn't in simplified Chinese and only traditional Chinese. My friend, how am I as an Indian going to, first of all, discern the difference between traditional and simplified Chinese? I just thought I'll make the lives of certain Chinese people visiting my website easier. And hence, I just added some version of Chinese, whichever was available to me at that time. The fact that it did not add your specific version of Chinese on the website shouldn't trigger you, my friend. And secondly, I think there's also some allegation that at a young age, I left school at around age 7. A lot of our viewers would know this. My mom has also recounted it a couple of times in her homeschooling videos. It's not because I wanted to be a guru, unlike what these people claim. These people make a ridiculous claim that I was in my school and I was trying to teach the children around. I was a very reserved child at school. I used to never tout my opinions outward and tell people what to think. I used to sit back and just listen to what people say. I used to sometimes lose focus when the teacher used to speak because at home they were teaching me better things than what they were teaching me in school. For example, I studied at the school called New Horizon Gurukul, and I believe at home I was taught much more better than what I was being taught at school. My parents were both very well educated and they were capable of teaching me mathematics, arithmetic, English, reading skills, and everything. At the age of 3 and 4, I was already studying magazines. I have a great love of automobiles, so I used to watch a lot of, as we used to go on the road, I used to look at different cars. My mom and dad bought me a book for flags. I used to memorize all of that. And basically, I dropped out of school because I didn't see that much value in it. My parents didn't see that much value in it. They didn't see that the school was capable of giving me what I wanted to really study. The school was not allowing me to study Vedic scriptures or different, aspects of our culture and tradition. They were forcing on me all the school subjects that were at such a slow slow pace. I could not spend so many hours of my life just listening slowly and slowly to individuals who were also abusive to children. The teachers at the school were quite abusive to children, and my parents raised that against you. And everyone knows this basically. In the 2005 to 2011, 12, 13 era, Indian schools were very abusive, including private schools. They used to scold children and taunt them and be verbally abusive. So that kind of environment wasn't nice for me. Contrary to the absolutely foolish claims made by these two individuals here, I mean, not these two, but you see them somewhere here. Yeah, these two individuals. They make this claim that I was trying to be a guru to my fellow students and the school expelled me. That's absolutely ridiculous. I willingly and with the help of my parents wanted to come out of school, and I did. And I still believe that decision was a nice decision. I don't say that anyone else, should take such a decision. It's something that I believe was right for me, and my parents believed and still do believe that it was right for me, and it will always be right for me to stay away from the factory system of schooling. For some people, it works perfectly fine. In fact, people who come to me for advice at times, I do tell them, to go ahead in the traditional education systems or the contemporary education system. But I think people should learn to leave others alone and allow others to live as they want to, without, putting all kinds of allegations on them just because of a personal decision. And I think there are a few more, but I have absolutely no patience to go through every aspect of this video. Some of my Taiwanese friends who really helped me throughout this, and they have transcripted this for me and gone through it and explained each one of the facts and lies that these individuals have been spouting all throughout. So I was just wondering why at all someone would make such a libelous video. The odds of getting sued are pretty high. So I was thinking it's a pretty low IQ move to make such a video without verifying the facts, right? For anyone, it could attract defamation case. But anyways, I just was wondering that, and then I figured out this particular channel had very few subscribers, and most of their videos weren't gaining much traction. About 25, 26, 27, 30,000 views all throughout. And I guess they needed a boost in views. So that's when they decided to make this video about me, putting all kinds of sensational pictures and even claiming that my father threatened them. My friend, my father doesn't even know who you are, nor do I know who you are. I've never spoken with you. I sent you an email last week, but probably you didn't read the email or didn't care to. We have never threatened anyone for posting any of this. I directly speak with my fans and followers and friends. I do not engage in verbal spats with private individuals. So here it is. You can all see that, chasing influence, some people just want to make all kinds of videos without understanding the consequences of their actions, both to themselves and their surroundings. And I think this will be a mistake. And I'd like to again clarify to everyone listening to this video that none of the allegations leveled on me in that video are to be given any sort of consideration. I have refuted each and every one of them in today's video. And this is not just, there's a lot of positive and constructive discussion going on regarding my predictions on the other hand side. For example, here we have Brian saying, very nice and very vibrant and positive individual. We had a wonderful discussion and it was quite popular as well. A lot of people tuned into it. It's a 30-minute podcast, and I definitely recommend anyone wanting to know about the basics of Jyotisha who has no idea about it to listen to it. So just take a listen to this as well.
And start transitioning over to astrology. Is it astronomy or astrology kind of?
It is actually called Jyotisha, the science of light and time.
Okay.
So that's its original name. But the Westerners call it astrology.
So basically, this is a 30-minute podcast, and those of you who are interested to understand Jyotisha from a scientific perspective and from a logical perspective, from a rational perspective, are very welcome to listen to this podcast. It also has Chinese subtitles, so if you're watching us from Taiwan, China, or any other Chinese-speaking region, you're very much welcome to listen to this as well. And then we have in Korea, we have a very constructive debate, which was running for about 24 minutes. Here we have a panelist of individuals debating on the prediction, and basically it's a good watch if you understand Korean. A few of my friends kind of transcribed it for me. Of course, they're both pro and anti views here, but this is a constructive discussion, my friends. And why we should engage in such discussions. We should debate. And even now in today's episode, I'm inviting debate. And let's see if we have anyone who is able to explain how I predicted the event without using astrology. How did I predict it, the Israel-Hamas war? So that still remains an open question. And of course, there was another interview in Taiwan as well. So these are some constructive discussions. This was when I predicted the outcome of the US election. In fact, before the Israel-Hamas war took place, 160,000 people watched the video in which I predicted terrorism in the Middle East. And again, it's important to note that I have set out a few challenges for the so-called rationalist community to come back at me, and see you again. So thanks.